Hey, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing good. For if you're new to me, hi, my name is Stacy, or Stace is what everybody calls me, and we are out in my what I call my mini museum for my nonprofit, the Desert Nature Alliance. And today I want to show you something that we found yesterday that I believe is possibly a bobcat, or at least a wildcat. So I want to be able to show you, but I also want to talk to you a little bit about why I think I'm able to identify it, what I'm looking at, and show you things where we can compare and contrast. I happen to be married to an algebra teacher, and he teaches online classes. And so I hear math terminology quite a bit throughout the day. Now, I'm going to tell you first, I am not someone who was, when we were younger, was good in math, was someone who was excited by it at all. And I was certainly someone who was like, where am I going to use this? And now that I'm older, I just hate the fact that I'm not good at math, certainly not at the level that he is. And I do see where it really does matter in the things that I work on. So this morning, he was discussing growth and decay. And as soon as I heard their class talking about it, I was like, that is what I work on all the time, are things growing, living, dying, decaying, and at what stage that is happening. Now, there are rates, there are formulas for growth and decay, and that was all the math they were talking about this morning. So I was super excited. I said, you know what, that does involve us, and so let's talk about it a little bit here in our world. Now, if you are new to me, I am out in Gold Canyon, Arizona. I am in the desert. I'm on multiple acres of property and tend to find things. So the things that you're looking at around me, this has been a collection now that's grown over about 6 years. So I don't want you to think animals are just flopping over all over out here. There is an actual food chain and a very natural cycle, a natural rhythm that happens out here. In certain areas that you do find bones, but once in a while you come across some when you're just out hiking or on a bike ride, because I'm out in the desert. So yeah, this collection is, to me, extraordinary, and turned it into actual museum. It's a little mini museum, private museum is what they would consider it. And I have a nonprofit, so the Desert Nature Alliance, and this is what it's for. Why I developed it is because immediately finding little things like this, I knew there was tons of education that go along with having, if I only had this, I could still stand here and do a complete lecture all about teeth and bones and just having one little prop. More and more that I was finding, of course, it became a collection. There's just too much valuable education to let it go. So we have things in here from javelina to coyote to deer, all the very, very common animals that I have in this area. By collecting them, I have been able to compare and contrast whether I am looking at, this is a deer, or I'm looking at a coyote, or I'm looking at a javelina, based on, I'm going to come up here really close for you guys so you can take a look at what I'm holding on to. Now, this is something I've had in the collection for quite a while, and I'm pretty confident in telling you deer. Okay? And so by having certain things already in the collection that you already know, you're able to compare and contrast. What I don't know specifically for certain things, and especially the one that I'm going to show you, is when they're broken up and there's parts of it, and I'm not going to do any kind of scientific testing. So what would I be looking for would be the size of something. Is it fully grown? So that's when we start talking, when he said growth and decay. When I look at that in my world, is this something that is the size it is fully grown at, or am I looking at something, and this is what was found yesterday, so let's come all the way up to the camera for you with this. See if I can show you. Now, am I looking at something that I was expecting to grow more, or was this something that is already full grown? Obviously now it is in the decay stage, but there's questions there. So how did it die? I have no idea. But why did I think that it was a cat? Having this part of it really wasn't, there's features. For me, it's these very large eye sockets, bones, structures that are still there. Let me see if I can get that for you. So we're gonna move that back. But what really, to me, when I saw was this. This was the giveaway on what I was looking at. And you're like, okay, Stacey, so what are we looking at? You are looking at what I believe is the lower jaw, be the lower right portion of the jaw of a wild cat. Now I'm going to say it that way. Why am I not saying bobcat? Why am I not saying house cat? Why am I not saying mountain lion? Well, number one, I don't have a specimen to compare the mountain lions with. We do have mountain lions in our area. Absolutely. We have signs for it. I have seen videos from people. We have the matter, but I have not found anything at all that I could say this is from a mountain lion. I don't have those kind of things. So I have nothing that would compare it and say, oh, this is from a mountain lion. No, 100% it's not. But we do have bobcat. You know that. You've seen him on our videos. If you're new to me, go back. We have bobcats around here. Why do I think it's a cat? Okay. Could it be a feral cat? Well, absolutely. That's why I keep saying cat. I'm going to go loosely at it because are there people that have house cats that possibly have gotten out? Absolutely. Are there a crossover between a house cat that maybe isn't, it's just a wild feral cat that's out there? For sure. Are there bobcats out here? We have all of it and it is common. So I'm going to still stay in the cat range and I'm not going to really leap out there and say bobcat, except what's throwing me. These teeth. These are some serious teeth. And I have a cat myself. I have a house cat. And so she doesn't have, though she is basically the same size, her teeth aren't this serious. That's what lends me to think, okay, we're in that category. Size and shape of the head also. Now, in my collection, we had found a full lower jaw that we pretty much believed was cat. Again, why do I'm looking at this and I can see cat. If you have a house cat, and it'll allow you to, take a look at the lower teeth. Look at the lower teeth. Lower teeth on cats tend to be these small little cupie-doopie teeth, but then they have their sharper teeth next to them. Why am I not naming any of this stuff? Do you know why I don't name some of this stuff besides the fact that I don't think that I should be doing all of the lessons? I leave it open so when teachers show my videos, they can start talking to them. So yes, if you want to know, look them up. But also, like I said, so when I show something like this, we're going to leave it also available for those of you that teach to use my videos and to step in and to stop and to point and to be able to use this for their purposes as well, okay? There's also teeth that are missing. It's also valuable for those of you studying how many teeth that you're expecting to see. What are these holes? Were there baby teeth? Were these adult teeth? So you have lots of questions when you find things. So I had this already in my collection and was able to take this and go, I really think it's the same. Right? That's when you start doing your compare and contrast. This one actually has teeth that are missing from here. Am I missing 2 or am I missing 1? You can't always count those holes, you guys. That's not exactly how your teeth are going to fit in there. So you can't look at this and go, oh, well, I guess I'm missing 3. Are you missing? Turn it to the front. Was I looking at the same thing? And I would say yes. So that was my comparing, my contrast on something that was my guess. So my guess was it was cat. My known subject, I don't know how you say it. That's where you can see your Stacey's messing up. Get her water, get your water, drink some water. There's never going to be a video. I'm not going to tell you to drink your water. I'm in the desert. I'm dehydrated constantly. Water. And I also want to touch on the fact that I'm blessed that I can have a glass of water. So let's keep our water clean. Let's do the best that we possibly can so we all have water to drink on our planet. Keep the plastics out of it, keep it all clean. So water, water, water. So next up, I have coyote in the collection. Yes, I live someplace that the last coyote that I found, the turkey vultures did quite a number on. I'm going to guess that the coyote had gotten hit and it was on the side of the road and it had laid there for quite some time. The turkey vultures, I have video of it, the turkey vultures took it apart. So then again, after more time, I took some pieces and parts. And so that's where you get collections that are like this. So if you live in an area that that has different wild animals, and this is how you get a collection like this. This is coyote, okay? So I'm gonna be able to compare my coyote, my known lower coyote jaw, right? This, the one that we knew we already had. This is the one that I had that I just showed you, and show you the size difference. But then come up close and show you there is a difference. You're going to see difference in the teeth, the size. So what I say, is this a smaller one of these? It is not. It is not. Okay, coyote, right here. Cat. They do have things in common. What can you see that they have in common and what they don't? So that is the whole compare and contrast. What are you looking at? What are you looking for? Put the coyote down. Now, how do I know this isn't a deer? How do I know this isn't a deer? Well, we're going to start with size. Now, this happens to be a full-grown lower right jaw from a mule deer. And again, what I already have. So this is what I believe is a cat. And again, look at the teeth difference. Look at the teeth. Look what they don't have. Nothing sharp like the front of this one. See, nothing sharp. See, sharp? Nothing sharp. Do you see the difference? Can you see the difference? Can you point out the difference between the two? So this is our compare and contrast with a mule deer. Now I'm going to show you, this is one I already had in the collection, and this is the one we just found. So again, it's not the same. Is this a smaller version of this? It's not a smaller version of it. There's a lot of different areas to this. That it's not simply just a smaller version that needed to grow. So is this something that was growing or decaying? They're decaying for sure, but it's not shrinking. This is never going to shrink down to this. Okay, that's not how that's going to work. So I'm going to come over here to, let's see. Now this is rodent. We're going to say rodent again because it could be a rat, there's all kinds, there's all kinds of rodents out here. Again, I'm not going to do any more than show you the teeth up close and see if you can tell the difference. So when we found this, did I say, oh, that's a rat, or is that a rabbit? No, because I have other jaws that I can compare it with. So put it all together and believe that I have, see, I can't do this time, so that's not going to be good. Other thing that I have that I'm able to compare it with, now I want to do a warning is if this wasn't enough for you, but I do have how would I describe this? We have a cat skull that I found at least 3 years ago on the golf course when I was working over that direction. Maybe it's 2 years ago, probably about 2 years ago. And again, could not specifically say if it was a feral cat, it would have to be a young bobcat due to the size. So warning you before I bring it on up. So this is something that I've had in the collection for quite some time, and this is exactly how it was found. I've done nothing different to it and kept it exactly how it was found. So yes, it might be a little bit of shocking to you, but this is the type of thing that you find if you're out hiking. We have predators, they eat, and things just simply just die. So it could have been an animal that had been attacked. It could have been an animal that was hit by a car. It could have been poisoned. There's a lot of reasons why. Not find the rest of it. Just that. Okay, so this is what I would use as, this is obviously a cat, and so I'm going to use this as my compare and my contrast on the size. And as soon as I put it up next to each other, it becomes obvious. When I put the teeth and the jaw next up to the size, it's right there. So that, when you're talking about compare and contrast and why you would keep something like this, when some people have asked me, well, why do you have that? Valuable. It's completely valuable if you're studying the animals in your area And especially if you're like, well, we don't have XYZ in terms of certain animals, or we don't believe we have something here, and then you find something. And so there is a value to it. There's a value to the studies. Again, if I had some of the math background, I would be able to do further testing on certain things. So no, for me, it's a lot of the basics, what I find, and then hopefully the support to the teachers out there and the educators out there. And then those of you that are simply just studying or interested, you can take what I have and continue your education from it. I can't even imagine trying to know every little tiny bit of it. Maybe I will as this all grows, but right now I'm only a year into it or so. So be nice to me on the things that maybe I'm getting a little incorrect. I want to show you the compare, contrast. Didn't really say that. Contrast. If you follow along, one of the last videos showed you this, and this came from javelina. Now, javelina is a collared peccary. We've done videos on those too. Call it Javelinaville out here. They are in herds. It is not a pig. Look that up. Collared peccary. This is most recent that we had found. See how dirty it is. I have not cleaned it up. And a lot of times I keep the artifacts, however you want to say it, the skulls, the skeletons, the bones, all of it, whatever words you want to put on it. I keep them dirty so you can understand really what I actually find compared to some of the ones that we've bleached out and really clean. This had been almost buried in the dirt. It is dirty. We did not find the top of it, but I'm 100% that it's javelina due to quite a few things. And I can tell you, this is definitely a full-grown javelina, probably gonna guess male, the size of that, the sharpness of it. Now, why would a javelina have teeth that look like this? When you go, are they a carnivore? Well, I don't think they're a carnivore. I think that's gonna go into protection and carving into roots and the cactus that are out there. And so they use them, so it's in a defense mode, because they're not really meat eaters, is what I say. Now, this is where you're going to watch and go, okay, well, Stacey, you don't know about this. Well, then look it up with me. We're all learning this stuff together. And so it's exciting to me to have something like this. I would have never guessed that we had that sharp, that large of a tooth on a javelina. It's amazing. I need some water. So when I take this, compared to what was found like yesterday, and then it leads you to the questions and the conversations about the wild animals and who can defend themselves and how and with what. So now I have this. I'm going to put it right next to this javelina. Take a look. Do I know that this is not just simply a smaller version of that? Yes, and why? So again, take a look at it. Take a look at the teeth up close. Why can I tell the difference? How? What am I looking for? Javelina, that's a cat. So fantastic education. I'm excited every time I get something now and I can identify it. For me, that is a huge amount of growth of my own personal education, to simply go from never having any of this around me from where I lived before, to living out here, to now identifying, something like this that's laying in the ground and going, oh my gosh, okay, I understand what it is and what part it is and where it goes. And I understand that I need to continue my education and grow more with my my math skills, along with my science skills, along with the rest of it. And there's no stopping of the education if you want to on your own for free. It's out there. I'm more than willing to help you and to send you videos or talk to you or get you to come in here and create your own lessons for your own classes or whatever it takes to help further the love of the desert and the education surrounding it. So I think that's where we're going to end it today. So I'm excited. Probably going to have to start a little section that is, I guess, for the cats, and continue growing the museum. Right now, the museum, like I said, is private. So if it's something that you wanted to come and see, you definitely have to contact me. Also, for those of you that don't follow me on Facebook or Instagram, for those of you that are on YouTube and watching this at almost 20-minute mark, love you for that, for paying attention that long. Definitely hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. It helps the algorithm. Throw in a comment somewhere. Definitely that helps. But if you want to follow a little bit more on the day-to-day kind of stuff that's going on Instagram, on Facebook, we've been talking a lot about the tortoise cart that we are building or attempting to build. So all that information is on Instagram. But long story short, getting ready to build something fairly cool that we can take out and really talk about tortoise awareness and stay on that side of getting the tortoises adopted out here in Arizona this year. Arizona Game and Fish had over 100 desert tortoises that needed homes. So trying to get that message out. So we'd love it if you'd support us on that. So go ahead and find us online in all the different places, whether it's our website. Desert Nature Alliance has Facebook and Instagram as well. So thank you guys again for hanging out. Thank you for being interested in all the desert stuff. If you have questions for me on this, if you're like, Stacey, you missed this, you totally didn't talk about that, put it in the comments for me. Otherwise, have a great weekend, and I will see. It's Halloween. I normally don't even talk about the dates on the video, so you can use them whenever, but this happens to be Halloween weekend, and we were talking about things decaying, and we had bones. So have a great weekend, and I will see you again soon. Bye.